Welcome to the webinar today. I'm Lance Parker with AdvantageCRM. Joining us today, first of all, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. We have Christian Arrett from AdvantageCRM. He's the VP of Sales. He will be presenting. Following Christian, we will hear from John Roberts, the CEO of X2CRM. And then to wrap things up, we'll hear from David Parker from Parker Insurance. Following David's presentation, we'll have 5 to 10 minutes of questions from the viewers and people in the audience, and then we'll close. Let's pass this on to Christian. Christian?
Thank you, Lance. I am Christian Arrett, the Vice President of Sales and Marketing here at AdvantageCRM. We are very honored to have today two wonderful guests, John Roberts, the President and CEO of X2 Engine, the company that makes X2CRM, and we also have a customer, David Parker, who's here in the room with me. Say hello, everyone.
Hello, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining. The first part of this presentation, I'm just going to kind of take us through kind of the setup of why does a small, medium business need a CRM solution? We have AdvantageCRM as an implementation partner to X2CRM. We have a lot of experience working with small and medium businesses, setting up these solutions for these companies and doing the implementations right. So let's kind of talk through that. There are many challenges in doing business today, as David here can attest to, and all of you out there can attest to in the small and medium business world. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is you want to serve your customers. You want to serve them right, you want to serve them well, and you want to grow your business, right? And those goals align very well with the CRM solution. So I'm not going to read through this whole list, but just kind of doing some research and talking to our different clients, including David here and John, we have kind of come up with this list of different challenges that small, medium businesses face. Anyway, so the CRM imperative. First of all, what does CRM mean? It means customer relationship management, and it is essentially the tools that exist in the market, such as the X2 CRM tool, which we're aligned with. It is these tools that help businesses manage their marketing and their outreach to finding new customers, their sales process and the person-to-person selling that they can do, as well as managing the service, the post-sales service interactions. And that's what CRM is focused on, the customer-facing activities that enable businesses to manage many, many moving parts, if you will. And so, you can honestly say, and I know all the small businesses I work with is, their customers really need and want that. And they want to connect, they want to connect at the right time, and they want a good experience. And they want to connect on their own terms. And it's a lot more difficult in today's market to do that with social media, with mobile devices, with so many ways to communicate and be connected. How is the best way to get a message to someone so they raise their hand, so they begin a sales process, so they have some interest and eventually become a customer? Well, a CRM solution can enable businesses to manage this process. Now, I know we have talked a lot with our customers and with John about the kind of ambition small and medium businesses have. Many business owners have worked for larger organizations. Many business owners have a sense, whether it's through their college education or whatever, that they too can act like big enterprise companies, even though they don't have the budgets and they don't have the resources that a large enterprise would. And this is one of the beauties of working with John and the X2 team is they have developed a solution that allows a small, medium business to be ambitious and to grow their business and to set these lofty goals, if you will. They want what large enterprises have without all that cost and continue to increase satisfaction and take on more and, use a solution that is easy to use, it's turnkey. So, and no doubt that today's environment offers the X2 solution included. It's all on the cloud, and the way to access your data is basically anywhere. And that's a nice advantage having that. And that's the CRM imperative today. So why would you use a CRM solution? And a big reason is it's because it's the solution is your enabler. And I know we've talked to David here, and many of our clients, the first thing they'll do, their sales and marketing staff will do, is they log in the morning, they come in, they log into CRM, and the CRM system, inside the system is all of the to-dos and tasks for the day, and the list of customers, and the list of different tasks that need to be done, sending email blasts or following up on a policy or whatever. All of that stuff exists inside the CRM. And most companies we work with, they want to use the CRM as part of their business process flow of their daily work, not the other way around where, oh, I've got to go put information in the CRM system. Case in point, you get a call right from your customer. You look up the customer name because you're already in the system. You look up John Doe's name, and you find out all the policies or all the background of that person, and you type notes right in the CRM system saying on the 27th of January, I got a call from John, and here's what we discussed. And so a month, 3 months, 10 months later, any future person at the company can find out all those details of the past. So again, I'm not going to kind of read through all these slides. We will share the slides with all the attendees, but I wanted to also share with you kind of an overview of what we do as AdvantageCRM. We have a lot of years of experience and skills and expertise in implementing CRM solutions, in addition to being business consultants. We understand what businesses are going through. We understand the kinds of challenges they face, especially small, medium businesses. We've worked in this market for many years. We have highly trained consultants and deep product knowledge. I would say that one of our advantages of working with X2 and X2 working with us is that we specialize in high-quality implementations and properly done implementations. In fact, here's a quote from Gartner. It says, when a CRM solution is properly implemented, and this is actually not inside the business, but it definitely applies to small, medium, as well as enterprise, that the businesses grow at minimum of 30% in the first year. This was back in 2014. I would say, in my experience, that small, medium businesses have adopted and are adopting CRM at a much larger, more rapid rate than we've ever seen before because of the tremendous business value that exists. But just buying a CRM solution is not enough. Having a proper implementation is key. And David's nodding his head because we helped him put together his whole CRM solution and kind of re-engineer his business, which we will get to shortly. Okay. So some of our kind of methodology, and again, I don't want to read through every point, but we specialize in implementing CRM solutions. We have a very solid implementation methodology. We call it Precision Path, where we start by gathering requirements and moving all the way through the design and build phase, and then testing and then deploy. And what's interesting, even in a small business environment where that might, well, let's say in an enterprise environment, that might take 6 months, it might take a year because you've got a lot of moving parts. Small businesses have a lot of moving parts as well, but we can do that in a matter of days and weeks to get that done and get a small business turned around and up and running and using the system and taking advantage of it. Okay, with that said, I hope that you all are still on and still interested in seeing the demonstration from John, but we're going to have John give a brief demonstration of the X2 CRM product powered by the X2 engine. So John, I want to introduce you from Santa Cruz, California. Thank you for joining us. Why don't you go ahead and take that away?
Thank you, Christian. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, David, for taking the time today. I know it's an extremely busy time in your season, so I really very much appreciate your sharing your implementation. Thank you for attending as well. As Christian said, X2 engine and being the company, X2 CRM being the application is started the company 5 years ago, and the idea for X2 CRM was to take enterprise capabilities and really package them and put them in a format for small businesses so they could take advantage of enterprise CRM capabilities, but also provide it in a way that was very easy to deploy, because small businesses have the same challenges of larger organizations, but there really hasn't been a category perhaps that can really touch on this and give them the power to take the next step. At the same time, CRM systems are pretty broad, and they can be used in a number of different ways. And we have over 400 commercial customers around the world, and actually within 5 years. And it's been really fascinating to see all the different deployment in the different ways and be able to use the tool. So I'm going to provide basically just a very high-level overview, and then we'll get into a specific example. So at its core, like with all CRM systems, really our core focus is, one, really focusing on sales, the revenue generation portion of your business, but also the marketing and the demand generation side, as well as customer service, post-sale activities. In order to support that, it's not just about humans and data entry, as you said, Christian. It's really about leveraging and working together within a centralized customer relationship management platform, but also now we're adding more capabilities so that you can create automated workflows. In a sense, automated, actually having additional, you could say, people power or brain power, and we'll show you some of the platform tools with X2 Process and our workflow tool. Okay, so I'm just going to log in, and as I log in, as you said, Christian, it's a web application, and you can log into it anywhere on the planet. It also supports mobile, tablet, so it's very easy to log in. Very modern application. When I log in, this is usually your typical login screen, and it's our activity feed, and this is the activity feed here. And this is really where, as you mentioned, you log in the morning, you want to see, okay, here's my dashboard. What sales, what new contacts came in from our website? Who just recently called into our phone system, so I can see our phone system connects to the app, and I can see actual call records. Oh, Chloe called in recently. I can see all sorts of activities. I can even post comments to my team members here and share activity feeds in terms of things that are going on. So very flexible, kind of your central command center. I can also have a list of my new contacts, new web leads, account summaries, and also how to contact and interact with my other coworkers and their contact information and the like. From within here, I'm going to kind of jump into marketing here a little bit. As you can see from the control pin here, we as a platform, CRM platform, we do so many different things, and really for most companies, it's really, and working with Excel is really defining what is the right process for your organization, and then we've built a tool to make it very easy to map it. So some of the core activities, one is managing the activity process within your company, managing all of your contact account records. So again, to that, accounts, marketing, lead management, opportunities as qualified prospects go into deals. Some companies use opportunities, some don't. It all kind of depends on your business model. Some use opportunities actually to track service or internal non-financial practices. Everything from calendaring, team calendaring, topics is a lightweight knowledge base where you can post on forums, a great way to share product information, competitive information, internal documents. We also have an inbound email reader, just connects to your email system. It's great for inside sales environments. And the like, from products, setting up products and quotations for doing quotes with a lot of product-related companies, and everything from media reports and the like. So this is obviously most companies usually just set the menu bar to just the modules that make sense for their business. In this case, I'm going to jump into marketing, and within marketing, one of the most common things we see is email campaigns. So being the kind of master customer database, usually customers import their data, you're constantly capturing data, and you're creating web email campaigns. And so it's nice to be able, instead of having to bolt together multiple systems, it's nice to being able to create the email right in the application, target right to a users based on segmented lists that you've created. To send the email, it goes right out through your email box, and you have a full history of people, whether they sent, whether they opened. It has automatic subscribe, unsubscribe in it as well. And then you can go into the records and actually create events based on these emails. So you're not just sending out emails, it's actually an integral part of your CRM system. So one of the next steps in terms of just general email campaigns is really looking at marketing itself, and from generating newsletters, but we also have this thing called a web lead form. So most companies, or most all websites, you have basically a form that is it's on your website, and it's how customers come to your website and they want to interact with you. And so it's a very easy form, and you can create a form, and basically it just snaps right into your website.
and it's a great way to capture leads. And it's very simple. All you really do is just use our visual kind of designer here, and you just copy the code and you just paste it right into your website, and you've got a great connection right between your website and your CRM system. Actually, and this is where the fun part starts, because then we start our web tracker. And once people start coming into your website, then we actually start tracking them on your website, and we can see, oh, so-and-so is on your website, and they're an important prospect. Maybe we should, alert the person right now that they're on the website. So having this next step, intelligence, and this allows you to kind of set up these trackers, or what we call fingerprints, on the website, and we'll get kind of more into that. Now, this is called X2 Flow, and X2 Flow is an incredibly powerful business process workflow tool. And the idea is you can create, usually in enterprise CRM systems, you'd have a whole bunch of programmers and consultants, and they would create your business processes. And it was a very complex, expensive process. So what we did was we built something called X2 Workflow. And X2 Workflow is a visual workflow designer for business people. A lot of times it's the owner of the company or the consultant. So in this case, you've got all sorts of different triggers. You can create automated events. So in this case, this is just one. It's, hey, when someone's on the website, I can obviously detect that now. I want to create a pop-up notification for the rep, and I want to create a new record. And then I want to split this activity. I want to add this prospect to a list, maybe perhaps what page they're on, or what their frequency on the website. And then I want to automatically send them an email. And in this email, it's a templated email. It's already going to put their contact, so it's very personalized. And then I might want to wait for 3 days and then send them another email. And now we can detect whether they open that email. And then, depending upon whether they open or not, to determine what next email to send them. At the next step, I can do things concurrently. In this case, I can create a sales process. At the same time, the marketing engine is already starting to nurture this prospect. I'm already starting the sales process. I'm waiting, in this case, 1 minute, because they're on the website right now, and I want to create a pop-up notification for the actual salesperson to say, hey, this very important prospect is on the website right now. Now would be a great time to call him because they're thinking about us. And a lot of times it's a great way to kind of establish trust and show, even for a small company, that you can do very advanced things. And in this case, lastly, I'm just going to update their lead score as another part of this flow. So you can create all sorts of workflows within X2 Engine to do all sorts of things, and it's been fascinating to see customers covering everything from internal process, customer service, advanced drip marketing techniques. It's really amazing. So this is one of the fundamental tools, but now I'm going to go into an individual contact record, and this is kind of the core of a CRM system. It's your contact management database. In this case, I think CRM systems, everybody kind of has a different feel. We certainly have this challenge of trying to, I think in our case, we want to update the professional with as much information as possible in the shortest amount of time without them having to click a whole bunch of different tabs in order to piece together in their head the relationship. So, and the way we do that is we provide a number of different views of looking at the contact. So in this case, it's kind of a list view, and I can just see, all the relationships. Oh, they had a case here, or they're related to this company here, and I can see the details of that. It's very easy. At the same time, I can see a list of all the actions, the emails we've sent, or perhaps I just want to look at it from a journal view. It's very easy for me to add notes to the contacts, and I can also very easily send them emails right from the system right here. It just goes out to your normal email box, so you'll see it in your outbox as well in your normal email system, but we'll also detect when they open the email. And then you can have workflow triggers kind of on that, create alerts. So it creates more intelligence this way. And then you have a whole history here, and it'll show up in the activity feed when they open the email. So it might be a couple days later when they open the email, but then you see in the activity feed, and it's a great time to call right then or contact with them. A lot of things customers also do is quotes and invoicing. So a lot of companies have product lineups, financial services, have a lot of hardware manufacturers, and so we provide a really nice quoting, a lot of telecommunications companies as well. So you can create quotes, line items, do adjustments. It's very open. Then you can immediately email these quotes to the contacts and convert them into invoices and pass them off to your accounting system from that point. So a lot of different ways. I guess one of the things I haven't touched on here is the sales process system. So the sales process, we support any number of different processes. And as I was kind of looking at the X2 workflow, which is the workflow design tool, which is kind of designed where you can create any kind of scenario. X2 process is kind of the complete opposite. It's for doing something the same way every time, and in being consistent that everyone is going through the same steps in order to complete a process. And we've seen very elaborate processes, and it's let me see if I have the screen. So here's kind of a detailed view. Some people look at it as like most traditionally as a sales pipeline for tracking opportunities, which is nice about our processes. They attach to any modules, not just the opportunity record module. So you can have a process on a service case, on a contact record, on a custom module if you've been created. In this case, I can look at basically my deal. This is kind of a sales scenario, and look at kind of my deals basically by stage. I can see where they are. I've got all sorts of filter controls. I can also set it if I want to look at it as a pipeline view versus a sales view. So in this case, we're seeing kind of multiple ways of looking at the same data and being able to basically move deals from side to side. One last thing that we recently just added in that feature was basically to turn off financial data. So a lot of times you'll create processes and you're not really tracking financials. You're really just tracking, let's say, an internal process or a service case. And so now it's very easy to create all sorts of sales processes, rearrange them. It's all done in a really nice, easy admin tool. So together, X2 Workflow and X2 Process create basically additional horsepower for your CRM system, and they work really nicely together. And they were actually, the X2 Flow can actually trigger sales processes and the like, so they understand each other really well. Within admin, we also want to, being an enterprise app, want to make it very easy to customize the application, because not only do we support a lot of different industries, but within these industries, different companies like to do things differently, track things differently. But at the same time, we don't want to kind of require companies to hire programmers and spend time on development, because it's kind of not necessary. So what we do is we create these really nice visual tools. So it's very easy for you to create new modules, export modules, and completely customize the system without actually just being a business person. In fact, they're designed for business folks. So this is what we call this our X2 Studio tool. And it's a whole studio for creating all sorts of new modules and customizing our existing modules. Lastly, I'm just going to finish up here. As I mentioned, kind of started, X2 CRM is enterprise CRM in terms of its scalability, its customized, its flexibility, it's the way in which you can deploy it, and also it's the way we manage users within the system. And in providing this kind of capability for small business, the way we do that is by compacting a lot into an administration console. And within the administration console, you can practically do everything within a few clicks. And so just a high-level kind of overview, we've got full user management for managing all of your different users. We can have up to 500 users, but typically it's between 5 to 50 users, tends to be your typical organization. Here in different companies have different security. You can set up all sorts of different roles, privileges, security access, who can see what records. So it's very, very granular, kind of depending upon how you like set up your company. The user interface is also very customizable as well, and being able to set up. One of the things I'll kind of show at the end here is a way to theme the application so it really matches all of the other applications inside your company. You're not having to look complete, and that's kind of been a very powerful feature for, especially as it just gets people more engaged. When here's where you basically set up your web lead capture, web routing, where I mentioned before how you can easily hook it to your website to track user events, capture web leads, and the like. Workflow process tools for setting up X2 Flow is all sorts of really interesting settings you can set up there and monitor the activity logs of when things are being fired off. Email configuration for setting up your email boxes and sending out emails so everything is tracked. You can see when emails are opened and the like. Integration with Google, often Twitter, and the things you'd like for your social connectors. Data import export is also key, whether it's importing new data, cleaning data, managing data. But at the same time, be able to do it through very simple tools. As I mentioned lastly, the Studio is a very easy customization tool for building new modules, existing thing for kind of designed for business users, and then basically all the international and security settings that kind of come with it. So I'm gonna. One of the last things is kind of a fun thing is we do serve a lot of financial organizations, and we do spend a lot of time not only on the enterprise side of the app but also usability, and giving folks a lot of options in terms of just how the the app can look in different environments. So in this case, you see sometimes in a lot of financial service organizations, they're used to looking at kind of black and white screens, and it just kind of depends. So we make the user interface so it really maps to the way that your users like to run their business every day. And we found that this being able to give them a lot of options here and being able to rearrange the application to really fit however they want to move things around. It's all remembered on a per user basis, and it's one of the features that I think that why we find with users we have very strong adoption rates with X2 CRM. All right, so just to conclude here, these are, as I mentioned, some of the platform capabilities with X2 Flow and the workflow engine, the customization, service, and obviously marketing and sales. But I think the real action is real customer deployments. And so Christian, I'd like to turn it back to you.
Thank you. We really appreciate that, John, and we're excited to hear now from David Parker. David's going to kind of take us through how he got to know us and the X2 tool, and talk about how things have changed in the healthcare insurance brokerage market. So I'm going to turn that over to, well, hold on, Lance, I think you need to give me presenter, and you have, and I will say yes. Okay, so we are a go. David.
Very good. My name is David Parker. I'm with Parker Insurance here in Rexburg, Idaho. 5 years ago, we did primarily employer insurance. We supported about 120 employer groups here in eastern Idaho. I had a secretary that came to my garage. We worked full-time out of that, and we worked all year and helped all these small businesses provide benefits for their employees. And then this crazy thing came along called the Affordable Care Act, and it totally made a paradigm shift for our industry. I went from supporting 120 employer groups, mostly small business, small to medium-sized business, and it's effectively changed our market. I've been in the health insurance business for about 12 years, and before that I typically focused on group health insurance business. Now what's happened with the Affordable Care Act is they have gone from working mostly with businesses to it has been beneficial for a business to dissolve their group health insurance benefit and send their employees to the individual insurance market. So 3 years ago, I moved my office to town and started meeting with people instead of at their businesses, meeting with people at my office. We still support about 40 employer groups, but our individual business has grown significantly. In order to survive this business, we have grown to about 4,000 individual clients. What we have found is the way to survive in this business is we needed to manage larger numbers of people. In the last 5 years, they've cut commissions in half about 3 times, and I've talked with attorneys and accountants that said, why are you selling individual health insurance? We hear people can't afford to do that anymore. You can't make money at it. But if you can manage the numbers of people and have an efficient way of doing that, then we have found that we have very good business. Now I have 3 other salespeople in my office, 3 full-time customer service people as well, and we just have found a need to manage large numbers of people. But small businesses in America, I think we've all been looking, there's all this technology out there. There should be a big IT solution and an ability to use technology to propel my business forward and do that. And we needed an easy-to-use solution, one that was turnkey, that wasn't going to cost us a huge pile of money, and also to navigate our business and help manage the relationships with each one of those clients. Managing 4,000 clients instead of 120, I have 4,000 decision makers to work with now. We also needed ways to store our documents in a paperless situation, and also meet all of the security guidelines with that. That's a big question with the HIPAA laws that are out there, the privacy, all of those things. We need to meet that. And so we worked with so I got to know the people at AdvantageCRM. Initially, they were a client. We did the health insurance for them and their employees, and they too were a company. It made sense to dissolve a group of plan and go to these individual policies. And so now, instead of working with just Christian for the health insurance for all of his employees, I work with all of their employees, and it's increased my workload some. So what they helped us do one of the key things they did that made a big difference to our business is they sat down with us on their discovery phase, and they made me visualize and go through, okay, exactly what is every process that you go through, and help me organize that. And as a small business owner, it was interesting to take a step back from what I'm doing, because I am super involved in my business, and look at what I needed to do to keep that organized. And so they started organizing us from how do you push someone through this, how do you get them clear through the process and take care of that. So we loaded all of our information into one system. In there we loaded all of the policy information up. And another thing on my errors and omissions insurance, I have to buy insurance in case I make a mistake. And so I have a call log in there that's associated with the CRM that keeps track of all the phone calls coming in and going out. And we require our staff to use that religiously. And if there were ever an error or a problem or a liability to the company, the CRM is a huge help to helping us protect ourselves with that. Also to helping us just help people. We have access to the customer data all the time. I work with the Idaho Exchange, and to call them up, their number one biggest complaint is that agents don't have the information ready for them when they call them up to talk to them. They're always shuffling papers and looking at stuff. And we got a comment last week that one of them said, you guys are always on top of your game. You've always got all the people's information right there at your fingertips. And that's a challenge for me because I only have 9.5 fingertips. And so it's really important to keep them on all of them. Also, we're working with them right now to track all the commissions. That is a big piece of our business, not just taking someone from a client, but also clear through how do I track them through the process, and then how do I get paid on that. That ends up being very important to our business because businesses have a difficult time operating without revenue and it being tracked. Also, it's been able, every year we have to reach out to all of our clients in the time period from September, October, November, and review all of their income and their health insurance. So we used to do this all year long. Now we have a 3-month period to do that. It has enabled us to send out emails to everyone. I can send out texts to everyone, and it's enabled us to keep track of the outbound phone calls we make as we reach out to people to get their health insurance taken care of, and being able to track that. I've had someone call me this last week, and they said, why is this not working? Why is that? And I said, well, gosh, I've reached out to you in October, and I reached out to you in November, and I've reached out to you in December. I've sent you these texts, I've sent you these emails, and they're saying, oh, well, yeah, I know, I've just been trying to blow it off, and I need to get to it. And it took a situation that could have been confrontational to totally diffuse to say, well, gosh, we've reached out to you these times, and then it also makes me feel comfortable because I know I'm not missing them. I know that they're all reached out to, and it's got a way for me to manage that and know, okay, who's missing. Hate to sound like Jesus, but we don't want to lose any one of our sheep. All right. So to be able to manage that volume of people in a 3-month period, it's essential that we have a system to track that. Our customer satisfaction is much higher as we put tasks in there, things that need to be done and follow up on as those come up. That's got an ability for us to follow up on those. We also enable our customers to renew their coverage in advance of the expiration. Like I said, they've given us a small window of the year to do that. We know who's got a problem, who we need to reach out to, and the system helps us track to do that. It is the big IT solution that Parker Insurance needs. You know, there was some kind of technology out there somewhere to manage all of this stuff, and we have been very blessed to be able to work with AdvantageCRM to get that done. Our company has grown significantly. It went from me as a salesperson. The first year we had about 700 individual clients along with our group business that we had into that to, in the last year and a half, taking us to about 4,000 clients. And we're able to manage a large volume. Other insurance agencies are asking me, they're saying, David, we're seeing your numbers. What are you doing? And our CRM has been a huge portion of that. Our information is always available to us, and we're able to access it, we're able to track things, and that is very valuable to our business.
Awesome. Thank you, David. That's fabulous. We are obviously very fortunate to be working with David all the time. You know, we've been in phase 1 this past year, getting them going, using the CRM system, as we talked about, in their daily work habit, not just as an afterthought, right? Oh, I need to go log that call. Yeah, you know, a day later, it's logging it, it's typing the notes in right into the system. not writing them down, essentially, right? That's sort of phase one. And phase two, there will be deep level integration into the Parker Insurance business processes. Okay, well, with that, we are at the point where we are going to have some Q&A, and we do have a few questions lined up, and I guess I'll turn that back over to you, Lance, as far as kind of responding to those questions. And then anybody on the call, you can unmute, or Lance, you can unmute them, and they can ask questions, or you can type that into the window there to ask a question as well. So Lance, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, feel free. Okay, first of all, I have a question. What deployment options do you support? Not sure. Are you asking for Mac or for? I'm not sure.
Oh, hi. This is John. I think usually I get that question quite a bit, and I think we're in an environment today, especially with some of the just phenomenal cloud computing offerings that are available today with not only Amazon Web Services and like some big service we use, but so customers have a choice in terms of being able to run in a fully managed cloud environment, and I'd say the majority, it's certainly a very easy way to go, but also we also provide the ability for customers to run the software X2 CRM on their own cloud environments, whether it's on their own local servers or up on their own private cloud. So being able to support both deployment options is a real benefit. So just provides a lot of flexibility.
Okay, great. Next question. What about training options?
Okay, I can take that, Lance, and then John, you can as well.
Sure.
So AdvantageCRM is a full-service implementation partner with X2. All of our consultants are certified. We in the X2 CRM engine in the tool, and we can provide after implementation training. We can provide extended support and any training down the road and any new feature that X2 comes out with. We also offer managed services, which includes training. So there's a number of different options there, and I know we work with X2 on coming up with different plans and different methods of being able to train our clients. We do a lot of training remote, but we do also a lot of training in person. We train, end users or train the trainer kind of approach, different approaches there. Anything you want to add, John?
Yeah, I think training can in multiple ways. I think sometimes we get, I've seen a lot of times people like X2 and like our capabilities, and they're very experienced CRM professionals are coming off maybe another CRM system. At the same time, so they kind of know what they want, and they want to be trained very quickly on very specific things. Usually, you could say very power admin tools or very advanced things kind of within X2 workflow to set their processes. On the other hand, we have the other side of the spectrum of training, which is more the front end, which is really looking at your business from the very beginning. What really are the right processes? And because actually creating them within X2 is actually pretty simple. It's really what to do. What are the processes? And I think that front end, getting that right up front is really critical. And then I think as you're rolling the system out, we found some customers it's really valuable to have end user training. Whether it's in front and really showing them, and just walking them through, and so training comes in many different forms. But as a general rule, I think it's, I'll be the first to say, just getting a CRM system that doesn't do anything in itself. So you have to deploy it, you have to tune it, you have to, in a sense, race it in a sense, and by doing that involves really understanding your business and working to set up in the most effective way.
Great, thanks. Okay, we have a question. Does Advantage use the Android app from version 5.4.3?
Sure, yeah. I mean, with Advantage, we work very closely. We're always up to the latest additions to the software. So right now we're just about to roll out our Mac iOS mobile application here, and the next is just finishing it, going through the last stages in the App Store. The Mac Store, so we'll have both Android and Mac applications, iOS applications.
Great. How do I move my data over?
That, data is, that's usually one of the first steps. And what I've seen a lot of times, some businesses, believe it or not, are still working on pen and paper or spreadsheets. That's not uncommon. And at the same time, they might have an older CRM system that they might have been using that might be 5 to 10 years old or older, or it might be a system that they just doesn't work for them. It was something that they purchased a long time ago and their business has really changed, but they have data in it. And maybe they want to consolidate a number of different systems. They're using a combination of different CRM systems. They want to unify it together. In this case, importing data is very, very simple. We have a lot of different ways to do it in admin, and also it only ends up being a couple hours. We've had customers upload north of 5 million records into our databases, and so, but typically I'd say it's in the range of 500 to 500,000 records. It kind of seems to be the average within there. But it's also a great opportunity to clean your data, to re-look at, maybe discard some data that is stale, hasn't been used in years. So actually shifting systems is actually a great time just to clean house regarding all of your data. And it's actually a pretty painless effort. It usually takes about half a day.
Yeah, I want to also add that one of the things AdvantageCRM does really well with the X2 platform is we integrate data from source systems. So if there's an ERP system, even for example QuickBooks, which is a commonly used solution in small businesses, we can pull in an automated synchronization. We can pull in data to the X2 CRM tool, like say company account data or customer data, any kind of customer data, or sales history type of data, or product data, any of that type of information. We have got a lot of experience building those integrations and setting in place a regular synchronization, like be that nightly or twice a day or once a week or however frequently is required by that particular customer. We can do that. So just to add to what you said, John.
Well, we also have a really strong API, and so we do a lot of real-time. Nowadays, just real-time push-pulls and just real-time. I don't know what you call them. It's almost like app to app, but it's kind of a real-time method as well, especially when you're connecting to all sorts of SMS, community VoIP technologies. But then there's also your internal systems as well, or industry systems, like you were just mentioning, that are providing data augmentation that you could say augment your customer information with.
Okay, great. Is there a plan to allow attaching photos more widely within the mobile apps, case studies, custom modules specifically?
We just added that to the Android app, and taking photos is probably the number one feature. I think we use it a lot for taking pictures of whiteboards and putting them in the topics module. But we're continuing to roll out the photo taking for including custom modules. And really anywhere. It's an entertaining piece that adds a lot of color, and I think you'd be surprised, whether it's customer photos or whiteboard photos, or. But yes, we're continuing to expand that feature.
Great. Last question: how internationalized is X2?
X2, we started as an internationalized customer. Over 60% of our 400 commercial customers are outside the United States. And I think and as a result, the application is fully internationalized and localized, and I think we're up to 14 languages now, and working better. So we have customers in South America, Europe, Africa, the Middle East, Asia, pretty much everywhere. And the app is also, we've spent the last 5 years in terms of the development cycles from an internationalization standpoint. So from currency to character sets, it's fully internationalized.
Cool. Great. Okay, well, thanks everybody for joining us today. We will make this available on YouTube, and then we'll have a link to this on X2's site and our website as well. Feel free to contact us via email or phone or whatever to any other questions you might have, and thanks for joining us. Have a great day.
Thank you.